Hi friends, Elliot from Lazy Dogs Records, and I'm entering a contest from Miss LadySoul. She reached a subscriber milestone, and so she's putting on a contest. She's got 5 questions for us to address to enter her contest. So I want to do that right now without wasting any time. First, she wanted 3 rock albums we really liked that influenced us a great deal. I'll start out. Great singer-songwriter Jackson Browne, Late for the Sky. Very, very good. Very important album. The singer-songwriter subgenre of rock and roll. This album came out when I was about 15. It addresses all those teenage angst and introspective philosophizing that you might go through in those younger years, and it is as relevant today for a senior citizen like me as it was back then, because most of the great questions that we have in life we continue to ponder, and it rings true, whatever your age, whatever your background. And this has got, just on side 1, Late for the Sky, Fountain of Sorrow, Farther Along, The Late Show. Side 2, The Road in the Sky, For a Dancer, Walking Slow, and Before the Deluge. Great album. Highly recommend it. I know other Jackson Browne albums may be more familiar for a lot of people, especially that great live album that he did. But highly recommend Late for the Sky. And then from Tulsa, Oklahoma, J.J. Cale with the album Naturally, with the great album covers right there. And of course, J.J. Cale, best known for his songwriting, but man, this is some laid back stuff right here. He's got some great songs on here. Call Me the Breeze, which Leonard Skinner later took and adapted to their sound. Magnolia, beautiful song. Clyde played electric bass. He played it with finesse and grace. And Waylon Jennings had a country hit with this, I believe, years later. Of course, Eric Clapton championed J.J. Cale over the years, recorded a lot of his songs, After Midnight being one of them, and After Midnight's on here. Of course, Cocaine, which Clapton became very big for Clapton, was written by J.J. Cale as well. Not on this album, but written by J.J. Never quite could figure out whether Cocaine was this pro-drugs anthem or this cautionary tale, anti-drug cautionary tale yarn. But I want to think it was cautionary tale. I don't know. Maybe somebody can offer some insight into that. After we did our 3 rock, she wanted us to do 2 or more soul, or funk, or R&B. And so, I've got 1 more rock, and that's the most important one. No band influenced my musical taste more than the Allman Brothers, and this is their At Fillmore East, their live album. And it's just a great album. I'd say the best live album ever recorded. Tommy Dowd did the engineering. He did a wonderful job. And of course, I was a little young when this came out, so I didn't come to it when it originally came out. Brothers and Sisters was the first Allman Brothers album that I really was aware of, and then I'm 61, so folks my age or a little bit older, we backtracked from there, and we got the first 2 albums, and we got At Fillmore East after we got Brothers and Sisters, and this just overwhelmed me. Just a wonderful album. One of the great things about this album is they're so blues influenced, and much of what they do is blues rock. They paid homage to the great bluesmen. Unlike, I won't name names here, but unlike some of the big rock bands that borrowed heavily, and some would say plagiarized heavily, from the blues greats, they always gave songwriting credit, and they name dropped them on the album and when they were playing live in concert. So this created a rabbit hole that me and a lot of other people jumped down into of exploring the blues. And if it hadn't been for the Allman Brothers, we might not have done that. They mentioned Elmore James. They mentioned Blind Willie McTell. They mentioned T-Bone Walker. All of which suddenly we're, teenagers, and we're looking through the record bins. Okay, the T-Bone Walker. Yeah, let me see if I can find something by him. It's Elmore James, and just think about how great that was. And of course, those artists would lead us to other artists, and it just became just a maze that you go through for the rest of your life. I don't know if I ever come out of that rabbit hole, but great album, the best live album ever, I do believe. Plus, we kind of, as teenagers, you want to be, the rebel, the lone wolf or whatever, not following, the trendy things and being your own cool self. And I think, now this is the roadies. I think my crew, we kind of either unconsciously or consciously tried to emulate the look of the road crew, with the blue jeans, I had to be Levi's back then, Levi's, Levi jacket, all that sort of stuff, and it's just going to have to rain. And so, that t-shirts and boots and things like that, we tried to look just like them. And then we had to do 2 or more soul or funk or R&B. So here's one, The Real Ray Charles. This is a 2-record set. It has lots of, it's not all his greatest hits necessarily. There are lots of, there's a wide variety of Ray Charles songs on here. And this is just a compilation put together back in the 80s, I believe. 2-record set, really good Ray Charles. You can't beat Ray Charles. And then I've got The Impressions, and this one was called Times Have Changed by The Impressions. Now, of course, Impressions, originally Jerry Butler was the lead singer, and Curtis Mayfield was original member. And Curtis Mayfield might have been an original, but he came along very early on. This album was from '72, I believe, and it's really good. It's got some you can tell it came out in '72. It's got a song called Stop the War, and it's produced by Curtis Mayfield. All the songs except one are written by Curtis Mayfield, but Curtis is not on that cover there. Curtis Mayfield had actually stopped performing as a member of the Impressions a couple of years before this, but he continued to produce them and arrange and write the material for the Impressions. So it's really his project, even on in the years, and it's his record label, Curtom, Curtom. I don't know exactly how you pronounce that, but that's Curtis Mayfield's record label. What I'm playing in the background now, one more. This is a very early Impressions, One by One album, and it's much more smoother, more orchestrated, and kind of, it could as easily be a Sinatra album as it is an Impressions album, to tell you the truth. So I guess that's 3 soul funk I would throw in there. Then let's see, she asked for a record everybody should have. Here you go. I went back and forth on this and settled on this great 1977, I believe, might have been 76, I believe it was 77, album from Muddy Waters, and it's called Hard Again. and it's on Blue Sky Records, produced by Johnny Winter, who was very hot during that period of time, and it kind of revitalized Muddy's career a little bit by getting the rock audience back into that. He doesn't compromise. It's a blues album. It's not a rock album by any means. Uh, uh, Johnny Winter producing and playing on it, but it also Pine Top Perkins is playing the piano. Bob Margolin is on the guitar. Big Eye Smith's doing the drums, and it's just a really, really good. Now, is there anybody any cooler looking than Muddy Waters? Great album. I'm Ready came out a year or so later, and that's another very, very good, I believe, also produced by Johnny Winter. And then she asked for a live album, and my live album pick is Townes Van Zandt live at the Old Quarter in Houston, Texas. Great, great album. Didn't sell many copies when it originally came out. I got this on Tomato Records. I got this very early on, and maybe not the first year or two it came out, or maybe it was 1977 is when it came out. But it's a great live album. Just him and the guitar at this little club in Houston, Texas. The jokes, just the jokes themselves, or I still use his jokes. He's got like 3 or 4 jokes in here between songs. Corny, stupid, but aren't they the best kind of jokes? Townes Van Zandt live at the Old Quarter. This goes for a lot of money among collectors these days, from what I can tell. I'll never get rid of it, though. And finally, an album you hated to begin with, and you learned to love. I was never into the punk rock music, and it was coming along when I was in my teens as well. But I thought the Sex Pistols were forgive me for those of you that are big into the Sex Pistols, but I thought they were just a media-produced gimmick. And so I was very pessimistic. I liked the Ramones a little bit, but that's about it. And when this album came out, it got these glowing reviews from the college newspaper, the music critic college newspaper. And I was very, that mess, I'm not listening to that mess. I want real music, Reluctantly, I got the album and listened to it, and it just killed me to have to admit, but this was a really, really great album, and that is London Calling from The Clash. They're so different to me from the Sex Pistols and some of those other bands that, they just were all gimmick, I thought. London Calling, not that they were great musicians, but they were competent musicians, and they had something to say. And this is kind of like a Roots album to me. I mean, this is just some young guys with guitars and drums and a bass, and they're just trying to create something. They had something to say, and they said it on here. And I always liked the hidden song on here, "Love in Vain." Just a very good song, and the song titles themselves are catchy and interesting. Brand New Cadillac and Jimmy Jazz and The Right Profile, Lost in the Supermarket, I like that one. And Death or Glory, Four Horsemen, Revolution Rock. So this is one I learned to love, and really play it fairly often today. So those are my entries for the contest. Hope you enjoyed. Ran a little longer than I like, but we'll cut it off right here. Everybody, remember, be kind to your neighbor, and everybody's your neighbor.